Affordable housing was chosen by our covenant representatives. It was something that we felt like we could all work on together. We know that there is such a big housing crisis in this area, in both Harrisonburg and Rockingham. 60% in the city and 40% of the residents in the county are spending above their budget, which is over 30% of their income on their housing, which is not something that is sustainable because it is taking away from their funds that could go towards childcare, healthcare, and other needs.
My name is Winnie Dickerson. I've lived in Harrisonburg, Virginia for roughly 40-some years. I did live in Tidewater for 12 years after going to Old Dominion University and moved back here to raise my family. Growing up in Harrisonburg, I said I couldn't wait to get out of here. I did not see people that looked like me. And so one of the real main reasons I ended up going to ODU is because there were more brown people down there. I can remember getting out of the car saying, I see black people. And I was so happy, you know. And as time changed, years went on, Harrisonburg became more diverse, became more brown, became more cream colored, as I like to call it. And my son is mixed, so I wanted him to see other people that looked like him. I didn't want him to feel like I felt growing up. So I felt comfortable with coming back here. I mean, that was added the dot to my I to say, you know, come on back home, because the whole populace had changed, and I was happy. Unfortunately, the systemic part of it has not so much changed. When I can go into city offices or a number of buildings and I don't see a brown face, that's not welcoming to me, because I remember that some things have changed, but some things still remain the same. It's like the majority of the black people live in the Northeast community. A lot of the places where they want to put the affordable housing is in the Northeast community. I had moved back. My mother had passed away. I moved in into my mother's place with my brother. Then my son graduated from college. He moved in with us, and you know, was working on a job for 6 months. Never got paid. That's another story. So I'd fallen behind on my bills, on my rent. And I told her, I said, hey, come April 1st, you know, you guys have been wonderful. I'm going to move out. COVID hit. I have an underlying condition. I can't find a place. I had found a spot, but for some reason, they stopped returning my calls. Found another place, sending emails, talked to the man. He stopped returning my calls. So I didn't have a place, and I was just really scared about going out. I mean, I knew nothing about this disease. I just knew that if you had an underlying condition that you're more susceptible. So I'm just scared. And finally I told, you know, my landlord was like, okay, it's April 1st, you need to get out. I was like, no. I was like, I'm afraid not. Governor Northam says, do not leave. You know, you guys have to quarantine. And I went through that whole, you know, thing with them. They were leaving me nasty notes, calls. I finally ended up going through Blue Ridge Legal. I had, you know, the stress of COVID, stress of possibly being evicted. You know, it was just nowhere to go. And I was emotional and cried over the fact that here I am on the board at OCP where I help the homeless, and now it's getting ready to join the population. And then as this COVID has progressed and I see how it's attacking brown and black people, it's even more frightening. And that all is systemic too, because where we had to live and health care and all that, it just all falls into that whole sphere of just systemic racism.
I would like to see the City of Harrisonburg and Rockingham County jointly fund and administer a housing trust fund, because it can only be spent on affordable housing. We can find ways of finding emergency shelters, cooperative housing, for rental assistance, it could be for a community land trust, all things that we definitely need in our community. This is just one way that we can have the funds to access all of that. It can be something that our local service providers use, as well as developers and contractors, in order to develop new affordable housing and preserve the existing housing that we have. So as far as preservation, we could be doing housing repairs, emergency repairs, weatherization, and making sure that people have adequate housing that they deserve.